September 26, 1983. Deep inside a secret Soviet bunker south of Moscow, Lieutenant Colonel Stanislav Petrov is staring at a screen that's telling him the United States has just launched 5 nuclear missiles aimed directly at the Soviet Union. He has 23 minutes before impact. 23 minutes to decide whether 3 billion people live or die. And the automated system in front of him, the most advanced early warning technology on Earth, is screaming at him with maximum confidence. This is real. Launch the Soviet missiles. Launch the counterattack. Now. But here's what nobody tells you about that night. Petrov didn't save the world because he was brave. He saved the world because he was terrified of looking stupid. And that messy, human, irrational accident is the only reason you're watching this video right now. Because here's the part that should keep you up at night. The system didn't malfunction. It worked exactly as designed. It saw a threat. It calculated probabilities. It recommended immediate retaliation. Let's rewind to September 25, 1983. The day before the world almost ended. To understand why the system flagged a false alarm, you need to understand what it was actually looking at. The system was called OKO, Russian for Eye. It was a satellite network designed to detect the infrared signature of American ICBMs launching from their silos. Here's how it worked. Missiles generates massive heat plumes when they are launched, and the Soviet satellites were designed to scan the Earth, looking for sudden bright spots that match the signature of a rocket engine igniting. Simple, right? Except there is a problem. The Earth is full of bright spots you cannot differentiate between a real missile launch and a forest fire, because both of these leave massive heat signatures to detect. So Soviet engineers had to program the detection algorithms to distinguish between definitely a missile and probably not a missile. And here's where it gets terrifying. They programmed the system with a massive bias toward false positives. Why? Because in the logic of nuclear war, missing a real attack is infinitely worse than reporting a false one. If you report a false alarm, you look incompetent. But if you miss a real attack, your entire country gets vaporized before you can respond. So the system was designed to be paranoid. It was programmed to say, yes, that's a missile, unless it was absolutely certain it wasn't. On September 26th, the system saw sunlight reflecting off high-altitude clouds at a very specific angle over the United States. The machine detected the thermal signature, and the location was Montana, USA, near known ICBM fields. The pattern matched the database, and the system did exactly what it was supposed to do. It flagged it as a missile launch with high confidence. The alarm started blaring in command center. Petrov rushed towards his screen and saw 5 missile warheads aimed and launched on Soviet Union. The world around him stops for a second. Petrov is terrified, and he double-checks, is this real? The screen again screams that it's a real missile attack. Petrov's job was simple. Pick up the phone and report it to Soviet High Command. That's it. He's not supposed to make decisions. But here's the twist. Petrov had been in that bunker for years. He knew the system in detail. From the day it was installed, it had bugs. OKO had only been operational for a few months, and it wasn't fully tested. Petrov knew if he reported a false alarm, his career and life of over 233 million people in was at risk. So, Petrov made a calculated bet based on practical thinking, not moral heroism. He thought, if this is real, then why only 5 missiles are launched? The United States had thousands of warheads. If they were launching a first strike, they'd launch everything at once, not just 5 missiles. It didn't make strategic sense, so he waited and watched the clock while not reporting it. With every countdown ticking reverse in lower order, his heartbeat was getting faster and faster, and on 1 second. The world around him was safe. There were no mushroom clouds, the missiles never came, and the system, which reported missile attacks, was not an actual missile attack, but rather it was a sharp reflection of sunlight on clouds above Montana military base, which made the OKO believed it's a missile launch. Petrov's hesitation kept 3 billion people alive and saved the world from going extinct. The Soviet OKO system was later fixed and upgraded and renamed as OKO-1. The system that almost started World War III in 1983 gave us a window of 23 minutes to make a choice based on fear, logic, data, and blind luck. To make a calculation whether to retaliate or not, and destroy ourselves. And the only reason it didn't trigger a nuclear holocaust was because one man, who wasn't even particularly confident, had 23 minutes to sit and decide with logic whether to launch the nuclear retaliation or not. Today, we're building autonomous weapons that don't have crucial 23 minutes. They have 23 milliseconds. And we're doing it because we've convinced ourselves that removing the human element makes us safer. But Petrov proved the opposite. We didn't survive 1983 because of technology. We survived because of human intervention. And if we forget that, you won't get a second chance to watch my videos, so subscribe.